Hello, I am Michelle.
And I'm Natalie.
And we are Force of Light Entertainment. Well, the yesterday when I was drinking my coffee, I happened to be looking at the beautiful Sideshow collectible, the child figure that is now in my living room. And if you haven't, by the way, if you haven't watched our opening of that Sideshow collectible, go ahead and click that and watch that. But as I was looking at the child, I began to think about something. So I came up with a theory that I wanted to present to all of you Star Wars lovers, Mandalorian lovers, that I think possibly you will like. Well, it is no secret that a lot of people were not happy with the portrayal of Luke in The Last Jedi. Maybe you're someone who loved it, maybe you're someone who hated it, or maybe you're someone who was a little bit indifferent to it. But regardless, there were a lot of people that weren't thrilled with that portrayal. You know, mainly because Luke was such a symbol of optimism and hope. And when we find him in The Last Jedi, he's depressed, living on an island by himself.
Drinking rather gross-looking blue milk.
Yes, from like space. I don't know what those were. But anyways, he was doing that. And
the source that gets you.
It is. And pretty grumpy about training Rey. And then, of course, we find out it's just a line of failure. We find out that not only did he almost kill his nephew because of what he saw in the future, but it led to his nephew then slaughtering the rest of his students at his Jedi temple. So the thing we all built up in our mind, that Luke would be this great Jedi that trained other Jedis, it just kind of got literally crushed in that one take.
The fantasy was killed.
The fantasy was killed for a lot of people.
Along
and again,
with the other Jedi pupils.
And again, maybe that was fine for you, but the bottom line is it was not for a lot of people. But anyways, as I began to think, because just as the season finale of The Mandalorian just excited all the people who were kind of felt disenfranchised or just kind of upset over the portrayal of Luke, it excited them. And that's one great thing about it, is it excited everyone. Whether you liked it or didn't or like the portrayal of The Last Jedi, you were happy with Luke and The Mandalorian. So as I kind of thought about this, and I looked at my lovely Sideshow Collectibles figure, I began to think about how Grogu could begin to bring some redemption to Luke Skywalker's legacy.
Totally.
And one way I began to think about that is because during one of my favorite scenes in The Last Jedi is where Yoda appears and he talks to young Skywalker, and he tells him basically, you did not heed my words to pass on what you have learned. And sadly, we find he did try, but Ben Solo killed them all. So he did try to do it, Yoda.
He had a bad day.
He tried. But anyways, here's the caveat. And I believe it has all to do with Grogu. Because I believe all roads lead to Grogu.
She really does.
I do. He's wonderful. He's cute. But I believe in Grogu,
we trust.
we are going to get kind of a redemption story for Luke Skywalker in this. I believe, and we will do another video, I have very passionate feelings of why I can tell you almost definitively that Grogu will be back in The Mandalorian.
So much passion.
There's a lot of passion in those beliefs.
It's bubbling over.
Yes, I have multiple ways I approach it too, and we'll do a video on that next time. But I do believe he will be back in The Mandalorian. But when he comes back, I believe we will see that, as Luke says, he says to Mando, he will never be safe until he masters his abilities. I believe that Grogu, through his teacher, his Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, we will see him fully harness and master the Force. And I believe I ultimately believe he will kind of be a Mandalorian Jedi hybrid, which will lead to why Luke can say, when I die, the last of the Jedi will be gone in The Last Jedi.
True.
And guys, there's always ways around that. I know some people are thinking that Grogu will die ultimately because in The Last Jedi, Luke says he's the only one. But it's just kind of like how Yoda says, or Obi-Wan says, that boy's our last hope, and Yoda says, no, there is another. And we know that George Lucas intended the other to be Leia.
I was gonna say, is the other Grogu?
It could. He really was around at that point, actually, thinking about that. But my point is we know that Ahsoka was around. That's confirmed fully in the fact she's around 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So my point is things don't have to perfectly line up with the movies for us to still enjoy the Ahsoka character or the Grogu character. But I will say this, that I do believe, and back to my point of redeeming Luke Skywalker, we will see that he trains Grogu to be this incredible Jedi, Force wielder, whatever he will be called one day. And in that, I believe we will get a little bit of closure, a little more redemption on the fact that Luke did pass on what he learned.
Yes.
And that he did have a star pupil that didn't turn on everyone and slaughter people.
Right.
And that star pupil will be our beloved Grogu, who will truly, do Luke proud. And do you know what I'm saying? I think through him we can kind of redeem, again, patch up again some things for people that people might have struggled with.
Well, and I think the bottom line, his life beyond the OT had meaning.
Yes,
they can bring that. They have that opportunity.
Yes, and that he was, as we saw, an incredible Jedi Master, and that he did have some success teaching the next generation, even though technically Grogu is older than him. But don't think about that too much. But Grogu does represent kind of a next generation just because of how he ages. And we will see, I believe, through The Mandalorian as these seasons continue, that Luke was successful in training and passing on what he learned. So that's just kind of my theory, that I think that through Grogu you can kind of piece together, and I think for people who struggled with The Last Jedi, I think that will kind of help them to see that Luke was not just a failure, but Luke had successes, and maybe Grogu becomes a phenomenal success, which he's a success when it comes to marketing and making money, but I believe they will make him a true success. Just as Ahsoka, it's honest, technically when Obi-Wan says there's no more hope, Ahsoka isn't a Jedi at that point. That she doesn't claim to be, but she is a Force wielder and very much to me represents what a Jedi should be. And I think Grogu can which again, Filoni created Ahsoka and he's working on these projects. I think Grogu can kind of be that for this kind of new leading into the sequel trilogy.
Well, and Luke obviously is iconic and amazing and powerful in his own right, but it kind of reminds me of something our mom says. She said to me, sometimes your calling maybe isn't what you do, but who you raise, being your children. And in the case of Luke being a teacher, it's like that might be one of his greatest testaments to his life. And his meaning is what could happen with Grogu and him teaching him and molding him. And so, that could be redemption for that character.
Yes. And I mean, Obi-Wan, clearly, the Jedi had their failings in teaching the next generation at times. Obviously, Obi-Wan carried the weight of Anakin with him and things like that. So Luke will always carry his mistake with Ben Solo, and ultimately Ben Solo is redeemed in the end. So that is good. But
and I love what Yoda tells Luke in that movie about failure. It's one of my favorite quotes of the sequel trilogy.
That the greatest teacher failure is. But my point is to let us all know as the viewer, as people who love Luke, who maybe again were disappointed in that portrayal of Luke, that his legacy isn't just failure as far as teaching. I'm saying just the teaching element.
Right.
But that he had a star pupil.
Yes.
Because I believe that star pupil is a tiny little green, adorable character by the name of Grogu. So that's kind of my theory. That's what I was thinking of again as I was just happened to look at the beautiful child in my Sideshow collectible that's now in my living room. Perfect place for him to be. And now I drink coffee and I stare at Grogu in the morning.
Speaking of, I gotta go see my nephew downstairs.
But yeah, that's kind of my theory. And again, I will have kind of more videos us discussing. I will at some point come out with why I can definitively say Grogu will be back in The Mandalorian. But But I do believe through the child, we will again see just how awesome and the success of the success of Luke Skywalker, even as a teacher, that he did pass on what he learned, and that
he might live on in little Grogu.
He will live on in little Grogu.
You know, we know he didn't have children.
Yes. Well, unless they somehow worked that in a book somehow.
Unless there's something on the side we didn't know about.
Yeah. We don't think he does.
He's like, none that I know of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that could be really cool. And I know, once again, I'll say, I think a lot of us, I didn't love what they did to Luke, and what is the name of the second
one? The
one?
Last Jedi.
Why do I always forget that one's name? I remember the first one and the last one, but Return, maybe it's I mentally block it out.
The Last Jedi.
I'm just kidding. It's not that
Not
bad.
Return of the Jedi, The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. But if you were going to go out, he did, I know it's debatable, it might be controversial, but he kind of was like Samson in the Bible, like, kind of use me one more time. Like, he did get used in a really cool way.
Yeah.
I know we all hate that he died and the way that we meet him, but, he did kind of go out with honor, in my opinion, and being used.
We'll use Ray's word, peace and purpose. But anyways, that's kind of our thoughts as far as anything else you want to say about Grogu, though, because I just want everyone to know that I believe through what they're going to do with these new stories is truly begin to fill in obviously the gap between Return of the Jedi and the sequels. And I think in doing so, they can flesh out these characters in a way that it doesn't retcon anything, because the people who think it's going to get retconned, it's not. Like, they're not retconning the sequel trilogy. Like, you're just going to have to deal with it. But I think they can enhance it the way that they enhance, that, say, the Clone Wars, to me, really enhances the prequels. And I think that's the route they're going. And I think Grogu is one way, again, that we will see kind of the redemption to some people of Luke Skywalker. And
he deserves that.
Yeah, he does, because he's one of the greatest heroes in all of movies. So,
right.
So I think through Grogu, we will get redemption in the eyes of many for Luke Skywalker. But anyways, that's our theory. So that is it for this episode.
We're sticking with it.
Yeah, we are sticking with it. That is it for this episode of Force of Light Entertainment. And what are your theories? What do you guys think about this? Do you think little Grogu can go on to be a star pupil and truly kind of redeem Luke in a way as a teacher? Let us know below. Let us know what you think and share your thoughts below. But don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Also, thumbs up the video.
Turn the bell on if you want to be notified when we post a new video or go live.
Yeah, because if you enjoy talking, we talk all things movies, but we also, Star Wars has a special place in my heart, and we talk it quite a bit. So go ahead and hit that the subscribe button. But anyways, that is it for Force of Light Entertainment. And remember, as we always say, to be a force of light.
Yes.
All right, we'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye.